So recently I made a video and I was talking about the flexibility that you have as an SDR working in tech sales. And someone commented and they were like, how do you have flexibility if you're on calls all day? Like, how do you go to the gym? How are you making a Starbucks run? How are you doing these things if you're working all day? You're on calls, you're sending out emails. Like, how is that possible? Like, what does that look like? And so in this video, I want to briefly break down what your day looks like so that you can know exactly what I mean when I say that you have a lot of flexibility as an SDR. All right, so you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth, wash your face, you grab your coffee, you get your day started, right? You open up your laptop and you're like, okay, you log in, and now this is where your shift actually begins. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You decide, what do I want to do while I'm sipping on my coffee first thing in the morning? Do I want to be doing research? Do I want to check my emails for an hour? You get to decide that. Let's say you have a team meeting at 9:30. You started your shift at 8 o'clock. So you have an hour and a half to do whatever it is you need to do to get done, but it's up to you. You get to fill in that time with whatever it is you want to do, because the only like obligation that you have is at 9:30. So let's say you're like, okay, I think it sounds nice to kind of sip my coffee while I'm just checking emails. Like, I like that. So you decide that's what you're gonna do. So you're checking emails, you're doing your thing. You might have some responses from prospects that you reached out to maybe yesterday or the day before, and somebody responded saying, I don't know, they're not interested. You know, or maybe you did get some good emails where they're saying that they are interested. Whatever the case, you're responding to that, right? So you're just sitting there sipping your coffee or tea, whatever. You're responding to these emails. When 9:30 rolls around for that team meeting, you click on the link that your manager probably sent you. You hop on a Zoom call. So now you're on that Zoom call, right, with your team. You guys are probably, it could be a product training. It could be whatever that meeting is just what it is. And then after 9:30, so if that was at 9:30, let's just say it was a half an hour meeting, because usually they're like 30 minutes or so, and sometimes they could be longer, but let's just say it was only 30 minutes. So now it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you have a discovery call. Let's say you have that booked for like, I don't know, you told the prospect a few days ago that you could meet today at 11 o'clock. That's the time you set. That's the time you have set on your calendar, right? So you have nothing to do until 11 o'clock, right? This team meeting was from 9:30 to 10. So you have a whole hour. Now, right then and there, you can decide, I think I want to go to Starbucks real quick. I'm gonna make a Starbucks run real fast, right? Because you have the freedom to do that, depending on what the rest of your day looks like. Like, it's really just a matter of having discernment and time management skills and organizational skills, because you want to make good decisions and wise decisions when you're trying to schedule out your day. Because, for example, let's just say that that discovery call was at 10:30 instead of 11 o'clock. Your team meeting just ended at 10. Should you run to Starbucks? Maybe that might be cutting it close. Did you prepare? Are you ready for this meeting at 10:30? Like, are you ready to talk to this prospect at 10:30? Do you need to prep at all? A bad or unwise move would be to actually go do something like that if you only have 30 minutes to hop on this call. Like, why would you cut it close, especially if you need to prep? Like, that's not really a good idea. The point, though, is that you still have that time to fill it in with whatever it is that you want to do. Like, that's what I mean, is that it's really up to you and just making wise decisions. So let's say your meeting for a discovery call is at 11 o'clock. You have a whole hour. You're like, Starbucks is 2 minutes away. It's right there across the street. I'm going to go to Starbucks. I'm going to come back. I'm still going to have like 35 to 40 minutes to prepare for this discovery call. Okay, you can do that. You can choose to do that. So let's say you do that. You run to Starbucks real quick. You come back. Now you have a discovery call. You hop on Zoom with the prospect. You're running BANT qualification, right? You're seeing, do they have budget, authority, need, timing? You're having that conversation with them. Usually discovery calls are about like 15 minutes. So let's say it's about, what was that, 11 o'clock? It's about 11:15 now. Now let's say you have, I'm gonna just say, I don't know, another team meeting because it's for something else that your manager wants to meet about with you and the rest of your coworkers. Let's say that that's at 1 o'clock. It's only 11:15. By 1 o'clock, that is when you need to actually, like, you have an obligation and you need to actually be at your computer for a meeting that was set by somebody else, which is your manager, right? From 11:15 all the way until 1 o'clock, it's up to you with what you want to do. You know what I mean? And deciding what it is that you need to do and how you should use your time is all dependent on the days prior and what it is that's on your schedule and your agenda. So if you got, for example, when you woke up that morning and you were looking through your emails, if you got a lot of responses, it's like, if that's going to take you time, then you're going to need to use more of your time later in that day to maybe respond to these emails. So day to day, it's going to change, because some days you might wake up and only have like one response from a prospect. You might have 2 responses. You might have none. So you might be like, well, I didn't get any responses. I'm probably just going to do some research today and send out some more emails. Maybe you're going to make cold calls. You might be like, well, it's only 11:15 and I don't have a meeting until 1 with my team. So I think from 11:15 to 11:45, I'm going to go to the gym. And now that's where that comes in. You can decide, I'm going to go work out for like 30 minutes. I'm going to go to the gym and come back to my apartment. And then I'm going to, maybe now at that point, it'd be 11:45 in the morning. Still, your meeting isn't until 1. So you still have an hour and 15 minutes. So you might be like, let me do some calls, like you look in your sales engagement software, whatever sales engagement software your company is using to do your cold calls or to send out your emails or whatever. And you might be like, okay, like I'm going to just send out, a few emails, or I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes just to making cold calls. So on your calendar, you put a little time block. You put cold calls, 11:45 to 12:15. And you just so you can make these blocks on your calendar. And so you do that for 30 minutes, or maybe you do that for an hour. You're like, I'm gonna just make calls for an hour. I'm gonna make some calls, take a break, relax a little bit, make some more calls, take a break, make some more calls, take a break. And you do that for an entire hour. Now it's 12:45. You got 15 minutes until your team meeting. And so, I don't know, you might just decide to kind of chill. You might chill until your team meeting because you only got 15 minutes. So you might go to the bathroom, or I don't know, maybe you have kids or something. You just kind of check on them a little bit, and then you come back to your computer and then you hop on your team meeting. It's 1 o'clock. Let's say the team meeting is an hour or 30 minutes, whatever. You do that. Now let's say it's about 1:30, 2 o'clock. You might be like, okay, now I'm going to, what else do we do? Maybe you want to work on some sequences or cadences that you've been creating, and you're just like, I think I want to try out like a new method on reaching out to prospects. Like I'm going to kind of edit my sequences. And so you kind of, work on that, and you decide, okay, it's like 1 o'clock. No, not 1 o'clock. What time was it? 1 o'clock to about 2. So let's say it's like 2 o'clock. Then you decide you're going to work on these sequences and cadences. So from 2 o'clock, let's say to 3 o'clock, you're like, I'm going to work on some sequences. I'm going to edit. So that's what you decide to do. So you sit here and you're going through the different steps. You're like, should I do an email step first, and then a call step, and then this? Or maybe you might try to customize and change up the wording a little bit. You decide what you're going to do from that time to that time. So let's say from 2 to 3, right? And then 3 o'clock comes. Okay, now it's 3 o'clock, and you're just like, from 3 to 4, I think I'm going to actually use the sequences and the cadence, that I just created, and I'm going to transfer maybe some new prospects into that sequence. So you go to your CRM and you start transferring some people over, and you say, I'm going to do that, like transfer everybody over into the proper sequence that I just edited and, made. And then I'm just gonna send send as many out before the end of my shift. Because most likely if you started at 8 o'clock in the morning, you should be done with your shift about like 4 o'clock. And so let's say you do that from 3 to 4, and when 4 o'clock comes, you're like, okay, transfer new prospects over from the CRM into that sequence. And I was able to send out like, a few emails. I got like those sequences going, and now it's 4 o'clock. Your day is over. That's it. That's literally what it would look like. So when I say that you can go to the gym, or you can make a Starbucks run, or maybe check on your kids, or mingle a little bit if you have like family, that's exactly what I mean, is that you create your schedule and your time blocks on your calendar however it is that you want it. Like how you want it to go is how it is, except for, like I said before, the obligations that you have. So that's basically it. I hope you have a better idea of what your day will actually look like and what I mean when I say that you get to create your own schedule.